Well, right from my earliest days, I was totally convinced always that I was really lovable, that God loved me with all of his heart. And I know that happened especially from my parents and my grandparents. My mum and my dad were engaged in 1940, and then Dad went away to the war, and he didn't get back until 1945. And during that time, I think the both of them just dreamed about their longing to get married and have a family. And I was the oldest son, and when I first came, I was just surrounded with unconditional love by them. I was just so special. I was the first son and the longed-for son. And likewise, the grandparents were exactly the same too. And I wouldn't say I was spoiled. No, I wasn't spoiled, but it was certainly, I just knew that I was important to them. So right from my earliest days, I believe that God is love, and God loves me very, very much. And God is looking after me and caring for me, just like my parents did. And so at an early age, when I was only about 8 or 9, I had felt God calling me to serve him as a Marist Brother. And I never questioned that call. I just knew it was authentic. And so at the age of 15 or 16, I went away to the junior 8 at Tuakau. And there, I think my journey towards God really began to deepen. And then, of course, I went down to the novitiate, where for 20 months, the whole focus was on developing as a Christian, developing in my relationship with the Lord. And they were certainly very, very precious days. In the morning, you would get up at 5:25 and be in the chapel at 6 o'clock and for morning prayer. And then there would be a half an hour meditation. Now, for an 18-year-old, that wasn't an easy call, but we were told what to do and how to do it. And so we got into a habit of daily meditation, of daily mass, obviously. And so during those days leading up to my first profession as a Marist Brother, it was just a wonderful time. I was so close to the Lord. I think in those early days, God does feed you with honey, because I can remember going to the Stations of the Cross and just crying my eyes out during it. Yeah, it was quite an emotional thing at times. It was a very, it was the first stages of a love relationship, I think. And then, as I became a Marist Brother, of course, things began to mature into adulthood. And I was so blessed in those days too to go up to Samoa for 6 years, to live in a Samoan village which was Catholic, and just to witness to the wonderful, simple joy those people had in the Lord, the beautiful singing and daily mass, and just great vibrancy in that Samoan church. That was so good for me. And likewise later in Kiribati, exactly the same, a beautiful church. And then in Kiribati, God called me very strongly to be a priest. And that was a time of turmoil for me. And I went to Kopua and had to discern whether it was an authentic call. But I was assured by Father Kieran there that it was an authentic call. And so I had the wonderful privilege of having 3 years in my 40s, just praying, just being taught by wonderful scholars about the Lord. And it was a wonderful time of growth. And then, of course, as a priest, I've had so many blessings. And I've always been in parishes where people have loved and affirmed me, and that is God loving and affirming me too. And I just do my best to return that love and to give God's love to them. So I really am blessed in the sense that I don't think I've ever had any crisis of love, that I've just always known the love of God. And that is at the very heart, I think, of our relationship. It is a relationship of love. These days I don't cry at the Stations of the Cross, but all the same, it's a different type of love now. It's a love of commitment and a love of just trying to return to God some of that love that he has showered upon me over the years. And I just wish whoever is watching this, that you too will share in that love that I have for the Lord.